Welcome back to the deep dive. This is where we sift through stacks of source material, pull out the absolute essentials, and basically give you the shortcut to really understanding a topic.
And today, we're diving into something just fundamental, really. It governs how we share our lives, how we connect. We're talking about the language of memory.
Right, the past tense. It sounds simple, maybe, but it's surprisingly powerful and, let's be honest, sometimes a bit tricky.
Exactly. And our sources today, they're really clear. Very conversational guides designed to unlock these structures. You know how we talk about the big things like a huge trip, but also the small stuff, like what you had for lunch.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Our mission today, it's pretty clear, right? We want to break down the mechanics, the foundations of the English past tense.
Yeah, move beyond just memorizing lists.
Exactly. We want those aha moments for you. Show you how, really, just a handful of rules, plus a few key exceptions, cover almost every story you'd ever want to tell about, what happened before right now.
It's funny, if you stop and think about your day, how much of your conversation is actually about the past?
Constantly, right?
Yeah, people are always asking, or you're asking them, what did you do? Where were you? How was it? It's just universal.
Yeah.
Being able to say that clearly, that's the gateway to fluency.
And the source material calls it the little window to our memories. I like that.
Me too.
Because if you can't easily say basic things like, I went, I saw, I ate, well, the conversation just kind of stalls, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. So we're aiming for more than just knowing the rules. We want you to be able to just use them automatically. Those simple phrases, I went, I had, they're the building blocks for everything else.
Okay, so let's start building that foundation. Where do we begin? With the easy ones, I hope.
Absolutely. Let's start laying that strong foundation with the rules that are, well, the most predictable, the friendliest ones.
All right, so the source materials call these the friendly verbs, regular verbs.
Yeah.
And they're friendly because, well, they're consistent.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super consistent. For the vast majority of verbs in English, if you want to talk about something that's finished, in the past you just follow one simple rule.
Add ed.
Just add ed to the end of the basic form of the verb. That's it.
And that consistency is gold for anyone learning, right?
Right, it's the biggest asset.
Yeah.
Once you see that pattern, boom, you instantly know the past tense for thousands and thousands of verbs. You don't need a whole new vocabulary list. You just apply that ending. It builds confidence really fast.
Okay, let's get specific. Walk us through some examples from the sources, show how simple it is, maybe touch on those little spelling things too.
Good idea. Let's take a really basic one. Walk.
Okay.
If you walk to the park today, normal present tense, but yesterday, you walked to the park. Simple, just add ed.
Walk, walked, caught it.
And the power there is immediate. That little ed signals a finished action. It shifts the time instantly for the listener. Now, about those spelling nuances, they're usually pretty straightforward.
Right, like if the verb already ends in an E, like live or love.
Exactly. You don't double the E. That would look weird. You just add the D. So, yesterday I loved that film. Or, I lived in London for 5 years. Simple.
Makes sense, just add the D. What about verbs ending in that consonant-vowel consonant thing, like stop?
Yes, good one. Sometimes, with short verbs like that, you double the final consonant. Keeps the vowel sound short, you see. So stop becomes stopped, with two P's.
Or plan becomes.
Planned, two N's. Again, it's mostly about keeping the pronunciation clear, especially in writing. Minor details, but good to know.
And the last spelling thing is the letter Y, right? Like in study or try.
Yep. If a verb ends in a consonant, then Y, like steady, the Y changes to an I before you add the ed. So yesterday I studied really hard.
You tried the new recipe.
Exactly. Changes to IED. These are important for writing things down correctly. But honestly, the biggest hurdle for sounding natural often isn't the spelling.
It's saying it, the pronunciation.
Precisely. That little ed ending, it actually has 3 different sounds. Getting this right makes a huge difference to fluency. We don't need a full phonetics lesson, but understanding the pattern helps a lot.
Okay, break it down quickly. What are the 3 sounds?
Okay, so after most sounds, like in walked or played, the ed sounds like T or D. Walked sounds like walk D. Played sounds like played. Notice no extra syllable, it just blends in.
Walked T, played D. Got it. When does it add a whole new syllable then?
Only when the basic verb already ends in a T or D sound. Think about want or need. You can't really say want or need. It's awkward, right?
Yeah, impossible.
So in those cases, the ed makes an ed sound, adding a syllable. Wanted, Needed. That's the only time it adds that extra beat. All other times, it's just a T or D tacked onto the end.
That's actually really helpful. It's not random, it's just about what's possible to say easily. Okay, back to the simple examples. How about play?
Right. If I play games today, yesterday I played games. Simulated addition sounds like D.
And talk. I talked to my manager this morning.
Perfect. Sounds like him. That simple addition, talked, tells you the conversation's finished. Done.
Whereas I talk could be happening now, or it's just something I do generally.
Exactly. That little suffix packs a lot of meaning about completion. It's a narrative powerhouse, really.
Let's bring in a few more everyday examples. Last night I watched a fantastic movie.
Watched. Regular. Sounds like teen. Or, this morning my cat jumped on the table.
Jumped. Regular. Sounds like teen. Okay. The sources also mention other really common ones, right? Like listen, work, clean.
Absolutely essential verbs. So following the rule.
Yeah.
Yesterday you listened to music, you worked hard all day, you cleaned the kitchen. All regulars.
Listened D. Work AT. Clean D. It seems simple enough once you get the hang of the sounds.
It is. And the main takeaway for these regular verbs is exactly that. Consistency. Learn the pattern, maybe practice the pronunciation a bit, and you've unlocked the past tense for most English verbs. It's a really solid base.
Okay, solid base, but we know it's not always that simple. What about the verbs that don't play by the rules?
Ah, yes. Now we need to venture out of the predictable neighborhood. Time to meet the rebels, the Mavericks.
Okay, let's face it. Some verbs are, as the source puts it, a little bit special.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
They just don't like that nice, simple ed rule. These are the irregular verbs. But the key here, as the sources stress, isn't to see them as difficult, but as essential.
Absolutely essential. Think about it this way. These verbs are irregular because they're old. They're the most frequently used verbs in the entire language, often dating back centuries. Their irregularity is almost like a badge of honor.
So mastering them isn't about learning obscure exceptions. It's about mastering the core vocabulary.
Exactly. That's the mindset shift that helps learners. These aren't random curveballs designed to make life hard. They are the absolute bedrock of communication. Master maybe 150 or so common ones, and you've covered a huge percentage of everyday conversation about the past. They often change their form completely, sometimes just by tweaking a vowel sound.
Right. Now, just listing them out can be overwhelming. For this deep dive, maybe we can group them based on how they change. Might make them easier to remember.
Excellent idea. Using patterns definitely helps memory. Far better than just a long, intimidating list.
Okay, first up, maybe the biggest group. The ones where the spelling changes, the sound changes, but it's often just the main vowel sound that gets altered.
Yeah, these are super common. Let's look at a pattern like IAU or something similar. Think drink.
Drink becomes drank. I drank too much coffee this morning.
Perfect. Or sing.
Saying, we sang happy birthday.
Swim.
Swam. He swam across the lake. Began. The show began late.
And sit.
Sat. She sat by the window.
See that pattern? Often changing to A. It's not universal, but it covers a lot of ground.
Definitely helps group them. Okay, what about another common vowel change pattern?
How about the ones like eat?
Eat. Ate. We ate dinner early yesterday.
Right. Or speak.
Spoke. I spoke to her last week.
Right.
Wrote. He wrote me a long letter.
Drove. They drove all night.
And take.
Took. I took the wrong turn.
Again, you see the pattern. Different vowel change, but still a recognizable group. These verbs are everywhere in daily speech. Grouping them like this makes it, well, less about memorizing 10 random words and more about learning 2 common change types.
All right, now for the real Mavericks. The ones that don't just swap a vowel, they seem to transform completely. Often the most important ones for telling a story, right?
Absolutely. These are core narrative verbs. Let's start with the biggest, most fundamental one. Go.
Go. Change it to went.
Yeah, went. Example. Yesterday I went to the supermarket. Looks totally different from go, doesn't it?
Completely unrelated.
But you use it constantly. Every time you talk about moving from one place to another in the past, she went to Italy, we went for a walk. It's unavoidable.
Okay, next up, the super versatile have.
Have becomes had. I had a great time at the party.
And had isn't just about possession, like I had a pen, right?
Yeah.
It's much broader. Much broader. It's about experiences. We had fun. It can be about meals. I had pasta for lunch. It can even imply necessity or obligation sometimes, like I had to finish the report. Incredibly versatile.
Okay. What about seeing things? See.
See changes to saw. This morning, I saw a woodpecker in the garden.
How about buying things? Buy.
Buy changes to bought. She bought some new shoes last weekend.
And thinking, think.
Think becomes thought. I thought about what you said. Notice bought and thought? They have that similar ought ending, another little pattern hook.
Ah, yeah, bought, thought. Okay, and two more really key ones related to doing or creating things.
Right. Make becomes made. He made a fantastic presentation.
Well, frame changes to.
Do changes to did. She did her homework very quickly. Did is also super important for asking questions, which we'll get to later.
Okay, so go went, have had, seesaw, buy bought, think thought, make made, do did. These are seriously core verbs.
They really are. Master maybe these dozen or so, plus the vowel changers, and you've honestly got the vocabulary for, I'd say, 90% of basic past tense storytelling. The effort you put into learning these pays off massively in immediate fluency.
Okay, we've done vowel changes, complete changes. But there's one more category we can't forget. The lazy ones, the ones that don't change at all.
Haha, yeah, the no-change verbs. They're super efficient, but they can actually trip people up sometimes.
How so? If they don't change, isn't that easier?
You'd think so.
Ah.
But because you expect a change after learning about regulars and irregulars, the fact that these don't change can feel wrong. You might hesitate, thinking you've forgotten the past form.
Ah, I see. So what are some common examples?
Think about cut. If I cut my finger now, or I cut it yesterday, it's still cut. I accidentally cut my finger while cooking dinner last night.
Okay, cut stays cut. What else?
Put stays put. He put the keys on the table a minute ago.
Set, like setting the table.
Set. We set everything up before the guests arrive.
And the really sneaky one? Read.
Ah, yes, read. This one is the master of disguise.
Because it's spelled the same, R-E-A-D, but the pronunciation changes completely in the past tense.
Exactly. Present tense, I read Rillas every day. Past tense, yesterday I read a whole book. Looks identical, sounds like the color red.
That is such a classic trap for learners. You see the word, you know it doesn't add ed, you assume it's no change, but you forget the sound shift.
It perfectly highlights why just knowing the rules isn't enough. It's about the nuances, the sound, the application. That's where the real fluency comes from.
So even the easy, no-change verbs need attention.
They do. But overall, the message with the irregulars is, yes, they're different, but they're finite, they're essential, and grouping them by pattern makes them much more manageable. They are the core of how we talk about what happened.
Okay, we've got the actions covered, the regulars adding ed, the irregulars changing in various ways. But a story needs more than just what happened, right? It needs context. It needs when. Exactly. It's just saying, I walked or I ate isn't enough. Your listener's thinking, when? This morning, last year. So we need those time markers.
Precisely. The source materials call them time expressions for the past.
Yeah.
And they're absolutely essential. They're like the GPS coordinates for your story. They anchor the action in time, making everything clear and unambiguous.
They stop the listener from guessing.
Right. They instantly set the timeline, making your narrative super easy to follow.
Are we talking recent past, distant past? These words tell us immediately.
Okay, the sources highlight three main structures we really need to nail down. What's the first most common one?
Has to be yesterday.
Simple, direct. The day before today.
The most common, most useful time marker there is. Defines the previous day perfectly. And you can easily make it more specific, right? Add morning, afternoon, evening. I finished the project yesterday afternoon. We saw a movie yesterday evening. Anchors it perfectly within the last 24-hour cycle.
And notice how flexible they are with placement. Often at the end of the sentence, yeah, I walked the dog yesterday morning. But putting it at the beginning works great too, especially to start a story or shift focus.
Yesterday morning, I woke up late. Gives immediate context right away.
Exactly. Okay, so that's the immediate past. What about things a bit further back? That's where the second structure comes in. Last time period.
Right. This is for talking about cycles, isn't it? Like weeks, months, years.
Precisely. You use this structure with common time periods. Last week, last month, last year. It frames events within those standard cycles everyone understands.
So if you say, I visited my parents last month, the listener instantly gets the time frame. The month that just finished.
Yep. Much clearer than just saying some time ago. Or, we went on holiday last year. Puts it firmly in the previous calendar year.
And we use last for the most recent one of that period, right? Last Monday, last summer, last weekend.
Correct. Last weekend is a huge one for conversation, obviously. Always referring to the weekend that just passed.
Okay, so we have yesterday for the day before and last for the previous cycle. What's the third key structure?
The third one works differently. It's time period ago. This one measures the duration looking back from now. It tells you exactly how long ago something finished.
Ah, so it's like counting back from the present moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly flexible. The time period can be super short or really long.
Give us some examples.
Could be seconds. The phone rang 10 seconds ago. Minutes. She left 5 minutes ago. Hours. The meeting finished 3 hours ago. Days. I started this job 2 days ago.
Or longer periods.
Weeks. I bought this book a week ago. Months. They moved house 3 months ago. Years. We got married 10 years ago.
So it's always a number, a time period, and then the word ago. I sent the email an hour ago. He called 2 days ago.
Perfect. It adds that specific measurement back from the present. Really useful for pinpointing when something occurred relative to now.
These seem like such simple words, yesterday, last, ago, but they do so much work.
They really are like little narrative tools. They provide instant clarity. Even if you use the perfect past tense verb, like went, the listener needs to know if you mean this morning or 10 years ago. These time expressions make sure they do. They place your action firmly on that timeline.
Okay, so we've got the actions, regular and irregular verbs. We've got the timing, yesterday, last, ago. But stories aren't just about actions happening at points in time. They're also about, well, how things were, the scene, the conditions. This feels like a really important one. We need to talk about the verb to be in the past. It's special, isn't it? Doesn't follow the regular rules.
It's absolutely special, arguably the most important verb in English overall, because it deals with identity, location, description, condition, you name it.
Who someone was, where they were, how things were.
Exactly. And in the simple past tense, it doesn't follow the ed rule,
Yeah.
and it doesn't follow the other irregular patterns either. It's unique. It splits into just two forms.
Was and were.
Was and were, that's it.
And the rules for using them are pretty strict, right? You can't mix them up.
Non-negotiable for grammatical accuracy. Get this wrong, and it sounds, well, wrong. The rule is simple. Was goes with singular subjects.
Like I, he, she, it.
Right. And singular nouns like the cat, the house, the meeting.
And were goes with plural subject.
Plural subjects, yes. We, they, and plural nouns. The dogs, the houses, the meetings.
And the slightly tricky one, you.
Ah, yes, you. Doesn't matter if you're talking to one person or 100 people, you always takes were.
Always you were, never you was.
Never you was. That's a really common mistake to listen out for. So singular, was, plural, and you, were.
Okay, let's see some examples in action. Start with was. How do we use it to describe things?
Okay, describing a personal state. I was really tired after the long journey. Or someone else. He was very happy with his exam results.
Describing an object or situation. The movie was incredibly boring. It was a cold day yesterday.
Perfect. All singular subjects. I, he, the movie, it taking was.
Now for were, plural subjects, and you.
Right. Let's start with you. You were late for the meeting this morning. Even if I'm just talking to you, one person, it's were.
Okay, plural subjects. We were roommates in college. They were working hard on the project all week.
And plural nouns. My keys were on the kitchen table. The children were playing outside.
It seems clear enough when you lay it out like that. Singular plural match. And you, as always, were.
And getting this right opens up real narrative depth. Because think about what was and were do. They don't describe actions.
Right, they describe states,
Yeah.
conditions, locations.
Exactly. That's the key distinction the sources make. Was and were handle the description, the setting, the mood, the state of things. The other past tense verbs we talked about, walked, ate, went, saw, they handle the action, the plot.
That's a brilliant way to think about it. Walked tells you what happened. Was tired tells you how the person felt when it happened. Went tells you the action. Were at home tells you the location.
Precisely. You need both to tell a full story. Without was and were, you can't paint the picture, set the scene, or describe the feeling.
Okay, and quickly, how do we ask questions or make negative statements with these?
Even simpler. For questions, just flip the subject and the verb. He was happy becomes.
Was he happy?
They were ready becomes.
Were they ready? Easy.
And for negatives, just add not after was or were. I was not there. We were not expecting that.
And we usually use the contractions, right? Wasn't and weren't.
Definitely. Much more natural in spoken English. She wasn't interested. They weren't paying attention.
Okay. Mastering was and were feels like adding a whole new layer of description to past stories.
It really does. It allows you to talk about complex feelings, situations, environments over time. Huge boost for storytelling.
All right, we've got the building blocks. Actions, regular, timing, yesterday, last ago, and states descriptions was it. Now, how do we put it all together in a real conversation? How do we ask people about their past?
This is where it gets really practical. We need to talk about forming questions. And for most verbs, not be, but most action verbs, there's one magic helper word.
The did rule.
Exactly. We use the auxiliary verb did to form most questions and also most negative statements in the simple past.
And this is where that critical rule comes in, the one that trips up so many people.
Oh, absolutely. It's probably the single most common error. And the rule is
Mm-hmm.
when you use did in a question or a negative sentence.
The main verb goes back to its basic form. It's infinitive without to.
Precisely. You must revert the main verb. Why? Because the did already carries the past tense, meaning it's doing the grammatical work.
So you can't signal the past twice.
You can't. It's redundant. Saying something like did you went is like saying past tense you past tense go. It's grammatically overloaded.
So it has to be.
Did you go? The did marks it as past, so go stays in its simple base form.
This actually makes forming questions way easier once you get it, doesn't it?
Much easier. You don't have to worry about remembering if see becomes saw or eat becomes ate when you're asking the question. Just use did and the base form. Did see, did eat, did talk, did play.
Okay, let's run through some examples using different question words just to hammer it home.
Good idea.
What about, what?
What did you do last night?
Oh.
Not what did you did.
Where?
Where did she go on vacation? Not where did she went.
When?
When did they finish the report? Not when did they finish.
Why did he say that?
Not why didn't.
Just, the pattern is clear. Did pops in. Main verb simplifies right back to its base form. That's the key.
Okay, let's apply this. The weekend conversation. It's universal, right? The perfect place to practice.
Everyone asks it Monday morning. So, what did you do last weekend? Notice, did you do? Base form do.
Exactly. And now the answers are where you showcase everything we've learned. Regulars, irregulars, maybe some was are.
Okay, give us some typical answers from the sources. Starting simple, maybe with regular verbs.
Oh, I just relaxed at home. Or I watched a couple of movies, relaxed, watched nice, simple, regular verbs.
Okay, bring in some irregulars.
I read a really good book. Remember red turd, past tense?
Or, I went to the park on Saturday and had a picnic. Two key irregulars there. Went and had.
We can add more detail, maybe combine action and description. I visited my grandparents. We talked for ages. It was really nice to see them.
Ah, nice. Visited and talked, regular, combined with was description.
Let's try quick back and forth to see the flow. You ask me.
Okay. Did you have a good weekend?
I did, thanks. I went hiking up Mount Snowdon on Saturday.
Wow. Went hiking? Was it tough?
It was pretty challenging, yeah. The path was quite steep in places, but the views were incredible from the top.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So was, were for description. What about Sunday? What did you do then?
Sunday was much quieter.
Yeah.
I mostly stayed home and tidied up the garden. I found some old tools I forgot I had.
Okay, see, the question used did do. The answer used was stayed regular, tidied regular. We'd have had found irregular, forgot irregular. It flows naturally between the question form and the past statement forms. That's the goal.
Another super common topic. Food. What you ate, what you drank. Relies heavily on those irregulars we looked at.
Right. The main action verbs being eat at and drink drank.
Yep. I ate sushi for dinner last night. I drank way too much coffee this morning. Simple past forms.
But we also need to remember that other really common verb for meals.
Have had. Absolutely crucial. Someone asks, what did you have for breakfast? Notice did have. Base form.
And the natural answer, oh, I just had some toast and yogurt. Using had is perfectly normal. Sounds very natural for meals.
Totally standard. We had a lovely meal at that new Italian place.
Okay, let's try a scenario about maybe a disappointing meal using negatives.
Sure. I could say, I didn't enjoy the food at that cafe yesterday. Notice didn't enjoy. Base form enjoy.
Oh, really? Why not? What did you order?
I ordered the fish, but it wasn't very fresh, to be honest. I only ate a little bit.
Got it. So my questions used did order. Your answer is the past action ordered, the past state wasn't, and the past action ate. Again, switching smoothly between the forms. Okay, final application area. Talking about parties, events, celebrations. These often need a sequence of actions and descriptions. Great practice.
Definitely. You usually start with where you were and when. I went to Sarah's birthday party last Saturday. Went irregular. Last Saturday, time marker.
Then you fill in the details, right? Like a mini story, a mix of verbs.
Exactly. You might say, it was great. I danced for hours. Was for description. Danced regular. I talked to some old friends I hadn't seen in ages. Talked regular. Hadn't seen past perfect, but uses had. I ate far too much cake. Ate irregular. We listened to some amazing music and sang along really badly. Listened regular. Sang irregular. I laughed so much my face hurt. laughed regular.
That's a perfect mix. Was, danced, talked, ate, listened, sang, laughed. Irregulars and regulars painting a picture.
And you'd probably sum up the feeling using be again. The atmosphere was fantastic. Everyone was in such a good mood. We had a brilliant time,
Mm-hmm.
was had.
It really shows how you weave all these different verb forms together. Went for movement, was served for the scene and feeling, ate, danced, talked for the specific actions. You need them all. Okay, this is where it all comes together. We've looked at the pieces, regulars, irregulars, time words, Worcester, asking questions. Now let's see how they combine in practice to tell a full story, paint a complete picture.
Exactly. These examples from the source material really show the payoff. They prove that just with the structures we've covered, you can describe complex, multi-part experiences clearly and effectively. This is the practical result we want you, the listener, to achieve.
Let's take this first story about a productive day and really break down every verb choice, see how the different types work together.
Okay, it starts crucially with a time marker. Yesterday. Sets the scene immediately.
Yesterday, I woke up early. First verb right away is irregular. Woke from wake.
Yep. Next, I ate a healthy breakfast. Another core irregular.
Yeah.
Ate from eat. Essential for daily routines.
Then I walked to the library. Back to a friendly regular verb. Walked plus ed. Simple action.
I read an interesting book there. And here's that sneaky irregular again. Read heard. Looks like the present. Sounds different.
After that, I met a friend for coffee. Met from meet. Simple vowel change, irregular. Very common.
We talked and laughed for about an hour. Two straightforward regulars back to back.
Yeah.
Talked and laughed.
And the conclusion, it was a really great day. Finishing with the descriptive verb was to summarize the feeling, the condition of the day.
Look at that mix in one short story. Woke, ate, walked, read, met, talked, laughed, was. Your regulars, the verb be, all anchored by yesterday. It shows how seamlessly these different forms integrate in natural storytelling.
Okay, second story, a trip to the beach. This one seems to focus more on mixing action with description, using wasware to set that scene.
Definitely. It starts with a slightly longer time marker, last Sunday, places it in the recent weekly cycle.
Last Sunday, my family and I went to the beach. There it is again, the fundamental irregular went.
Now, notice the next few sentences. Pure description. Setting the scene. The sun was shining brightly. The water was surprisingly warm. The beach wasn't too crowded.
3 uses of was wasn't in a row, purely describing the conditions, painting the picture before the action starts.
Exactly. Now the action kicks in. We played beach volleyball. Simple regular verb. Played.
I swam in the sea for ages. Irregular vowel change. Swam from swim.
Later, we ate some delicious fish and chips. That essential irregular again. Ate.
And the wrap-up, mixing experience and feeling. We had so much fun, irregular had for experience. We were all really tired but happy when we drove home. Where for plural state, drove irregular action.
Again, look at the blend. The descriptive setup with was, then the actions using regulars, played, and common irregulars,
Yeah.
swam, ate, drove.
Hmm?
And summarizing the experience with, had, and were. It flows perfectly.
Let's try analyzing a slightly different type of story. Maybe something unexpected, a bit tense, like describing a minor crisis. Often needs quick, clear communication.
Good idea. Those situations really test your fluency. Let's imagine one. How about starting with the setup?
Okay. 2 nights ago, I walked home quite late from work. Time marker ago, regular verb walked. Standard start.
Right. Then the event. Suddenly, I heard a strange noise behind me. Heard, from here, looks almost regular, but it's irregular. Doesn't end in ed.
I stopped walking and looked around nervously. 2 regular verbs. Stopped. Doubled P. Looked. Action sequence.
But there was nothing there. It was completely dark. Key use of was twice for description and absence of something.
I didn't see anyone.
Right.
Crucial negation using didn't plus the base form C, explaining the lack of visual confirmation.
But my heart was beating really fast.
Hmm.
Using was plus the ing form, past continuous, to describe an ongoing physical sensation during that past moment. Very descriptive.
So I ran the rest of the way. Irregular action verb, ran from run. Big action.
When I got inside my apartment, I immediately locked the door. Irregular got from get. Regular locked. Final actions.
That narrative shows how you use regulars for simple actions. Walked, stopped, looked, locked. Irregulars for key events. Heard, ran, got. Was for scene setting. Didn't see for negation. And even was beating for ongoing feeling. All essential tools for recounting even a short, tense event.
One more. How about describing plans that changed or something that didn't happen? That really brings negatives into play.
Yeah, that's important too. Let's say someone had travel plans that fell through. How would they explain it?
Okay, they might start with the original plan using was. My plan was to go to Japan last month. Sets the context using was and the time marker last month.
I bought the plane tickets and I made all the hotel bookings online. Two core irregulars, bought from buy and made from make, describing the preparatory actions.
Everything was arranged. Using was again for the state of the arrangements.
But then, just a week before, I received some unexpected news from my family. Regular verb received marks a turning point.
So, in the end, I didn't go. The key negative statement using didn't plus base form go.
I didn't use the tickets. I didn't take the trip. Reinforcing the negative outcome with didn't use, didn't take.
I was really disappointed, of course. Using was to describe the emotional state.
But I knew I had to stay home. Irregular knew from no for understanding, and irregular had implying necessity or obligation.
Perfect. That story relies heavily on was for the initial plan and feeling, key irregulars, bought, made, knew, had, for actions and understanding, and crucially, the didn't plus base verb structure, didn't go, didn't use, didn't take, to explain what failed to happen.
These four stories, covering different scenarios, really drive home the point. Regulars, irregulars, WASFR, time markers didn't. They're not separate lists to memorize. They're parts of a system and architecture for telling stories about the past.
Exactly. And hopefully, breaking them down like this demystifies it. It shows that these rules, once you grasp the patterns and the core exceptions, are manageable and incredibly powerful for communication. #outro.
Okay, wow. We have covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. Let's quickly recap the key things we've unlocked.
We started with the foundation. The friendly regular verbs, the ones that just add that aid. We saw the consistency there, even touching on those little spelling and pronunciation details.
Then we tackled the big one, the essential irregular verbs. But instead of just a list, we grouped them, right? By how they change vowel changes, complete changes like went and saw, and those sneaky no-change verbs like cut and read.
Making them patterns, not just random words. Then we added the crucial time markers yesterday, last week, 3 days ago, to give our stories context and clarity. Pinpoint the when.
We sorted out the all-important verb to be in the past, mastering was and were to describe states, conditions, locations, feelings, making sure to match singular with was, plural, and you with were, the descriptive layer.
And finally, we put it into conversation. Asking questions and making negative statements using that vital helper did, always remembering the golden rule. When did is there, the main verb snaps back to its simple base form.
So the goal here isn't just that you listened and understood. You're basically a past tense architect now.
Ah, I like that.
The real goal, the practical application, is for you to feel confident enough right now to actually try it. Tell someone about your day. Tell them about your weekend. Consciously use those irregulars. Use was and were. Ask a question with did.
Don't just let it sit in your head. Activate it. Put it into practice today. That's how it sticks.
Absolutely. Use it or lose it, as they say.
And maybe, building on that idea of practice and thinking about memory and time, let's leave you with a final thought to mull over.
Okay.
We talked about how the past tense lets us say what happened and when. And we distinguish between the action verbs, did, and the state verbs, was.
So here's a challenge. Think about a specific day from the last month or so that felt particularly challenging or maybe just very unusual. Got one?
Okay, yeah. Now, instead of focusing first on what you did, the sequence of actions, try to describe only how things were at key moments during that day. What was the atmosphere like? Where were you? How are you feeling? Use only was and were to paint that scene, that condition first. Can you set that stage clearly before you even mention the main actions you took? That's a great next step for really mastering descriptive storytelling about your past.
That's a fantastic challenge. Focus on the being before the doing. Excellent. Well, that's all we have time for in this deep dive. Until next time, keep practicing, keep building those stories.
And keep sharing them. Thanks for diving deep with us into the language of yesterday. Farewell.